Hi there, I'm Dr. Jeremy, lead educator at the Electro Acupuncture Institute. We help acupuncturists create breakthrough patient results using the world's most cutting-edge electroacupuncture techniques. In today's training, we're not talking about points or protocols. Well, actually we are. We're talking about how to treat a body that's changed since 2020. Because since 2020, your patients have been living in a different terrain, more toxic, more reactive, and more electrically unstable than ever before. And unless you start in the right place, even your best treatments won't hold. This video will show you the three most critical systems you need to stabilize first in nearly every modern case: earth channels, fire channels, and immune/toxin leaks. Now, before we dive in, grab the free download, the Post-2020 Terrain Reset Guide. You should be able to find the link right below this video. Let's get to it. All right, so something happened since 2020. What happened? Well, we all started being exposed to an increasing amount of toxins, such as dirty electromagnetic fields, or toxins in our food, water, air, GMO foods, medicines. There are toxins coming from all places, and we've seen a shift in our patients' health since then. And let's talk about it. Let's go over how we can help our patients deal with this increasing pathogen burden or immune overwhelm. So if you've been following me a long time or any time at all, you may be familiar with this three-step diagnostic process that I teach, which is step one: which acupuncture channel is deficient in electricity, failing to feed the tissues that are fed by those channels, because we know that cells need negative 20.8 millivolts or greater for proper function and cellular regeneration. So step one: which acuchannel is deficient, which tissue is deficient, or which neural level is deficient, because the neural levels feed the organs, which we can consider tissues, but also tissues can be things like the blood. Step two: which of the 7 Ichi leaks are present? So the 7 are scars, emotions or stuck magnetic fields, stomach or small intestine organ, thyroid, adrenals, immune/toxins, and dental issues. Those are our 7 sort of checklist of the leaks that we look for. And then finally, step 3, what can be removed from the patient's life, such as cigarettes, or maybe they're holding their cell phone next to their groin or their heart on their chest, and what can be added, like the raw building blocks. A lot of people are deficient in something as simple as vitamin C. Every morning, the body doesn't make vitamin C, so every morning the patient's body is typically deficient in vitamin C. And vitamin C is needed for so many different things, such as the production of stomach acid or even the production of adrenaline by the adrenals. So now, we can refine this based upon what I'm teaching, which is that we're all exposed to the same toxins. We're all, or generally, right? We're all walking around with these invisible electromagnetic fields, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, stealing electricity from us, our tissues, our cells, our organs. And because of that, and also because we all have human bodies with the same organs and the same acuchannels, for example, well, this makes it really simple now, because I want to talk about the 2 channels you try to rule out, especially on the first treatment or the first 5 or 10 treatments, and a major Ichi leak that you want to try and rule out. So what are those? Well, the first acuchannel you try to rule out is the earth channel. Why is that? That's because the earth channel feeds the entire endocrine system, the entire genitourinary system, as well as the entire mesoderm area or muscular tissue. And don't we have mesoderm everywhere, right? Like you're like the urinary bladder, is that a muscle? Well, doesn't it have muscle tissue? The large intestine, isn't that a muscle? So the large intestine is actually fed by the earth channel, stomach and spleen, and only the inner lining of the large intestine, that endoderm layer, is actually fed by the large intestine channel. Okay, that's the first channel you try and rule out. The second channel you try and rule out is fire channels. There's 4 of them, right? And there's only 12 channels, basically. And this is a third of them, right? So cardiac disease is the #1 killer in the United States, and the heart channel is part of the fire channels. For the small intestine channel, that feeds that inner lining of the small intestine, which absorbs things. It's supposed to absorb amino acids, but when it absorbs proteins, the immune system begins to attack those proteins. Think about leaky gut syndrome and that inner lining of the small intestine being fed by the small intestine. So whenever you think of small intestine channel, think of autoimmune disease. Then we have the autonomic nervous system, sympathetic versus parasympathetic, which is fed by the pericardium channel and the triple energizer channel. So an electrical deficiency in the triple energizer or the pericardium channel can offset the autonomic nervous system. If somebody's in sympathetic dominance, they're not going to be resting, they're not going to be recovering, they're not going to be getting great results from our treatments. More and more, our patients, because of this fire channel drain, have come into the office in sympathetic dominance, and your treatments don't work so well unless you fix it, get them out of sympathetic dominance. Let's talk about this I-Ching leak here, the immune/toxins I-Ching leak. Now, how important is the immune system in overcoming these toxins that I was talking about? What are you looking at here? These are some slides from my PhD project that I did, where I studied the effects of the blood electrification treatment, which is one protocol that I teach, and I will go over it briefly in this short video. These are white blood cells here. Let me zoom in. These are before treated blood. Now, every single participant, I was shocked because they're considered healthy by Western medicine, but when you look at their blood under the microscope, none of their immune systems were functioning properly. And that's because of all the pathogen burden and the toxin overload, and the immune system simply can't deal with it. These white little blurry things are neutrophils. Now, I know that they are deficient in electricity. They're not able to clean up this inner terrain. How do I know that? Well, because these lobes are grayed out and these things are not very active. And they're like the same size as these red blood cells here. Not to worry, because 120-minute treatment of pumping the right type of electricity into the blood, they start to kick back into action. Look what happens 1 week later. There's more neutrophils, and these light settings are exactly the same in all these slides, by the way. And the brighter the light setting, the more oxygenation potential and the more energy that these white blood cells have to do their thing. Here, now you can see the nuclear lobes are clearly made out. These cells are much bigger than the red blood cells, and this is the phagolysosome cleaning up the inner terrain. Now, I said since 2020, we are inundated with pathogens and parasites and toxins. These streaked dots here are representative of dead, slaughtered plasma parasites from our blood electric treatment. Let's look at another slide. This shocked me. This is a single drop of capillary blood zoomed out. Look at this worm-like pathogen that we found in supposedly healthy tissues. A 20-minute treatment, and we streak these. You can see these dead plasma parasites. 1 week later, it's still working. The immune system's kicking into action. And then 2 weeks later, we can see that this is, so this in the before treatment, this is alive. You can zoom in on this worm, you can find the stomach, and you can see it moving and digesting. Now, 2 weeks later, this thing's dead, it's not moving, and you have a white blood cell here dismantling it, which takes time. It's real fast to insert electricity and get some results, but the immune system needs time to take that energy and come back on board and clean up the pathogens. Now, these are red blood cells all clumped together. We know they're deficient in electricity because zeta potential, the negative charge on the outside of red blood cells, negative repels negative, and they should be free floating. How are these clumps of red blood cells going to make it and pass single file through the capillary to offload and pick up oxygen and carbon dioxide? How will that ever happen? It's not gonna. Not to worry, 120-minute treatment later, I zoomed out, you can see more cells are repelling. We've decreased the viscosity of the blood here, and it's really highly functional. Right? So what to do about the immune/toxins? We have several treatments. Let's talk about them. One is the blood electric treatment. Now, how to do that, I have some other videos. You should go probably watch them on the blood electric. But basically, you insert a needle obliquely near the radial artery or the ulnar artery on the wrist, and then insert electricity. I like 4 hertz, and longer is better. So that is the treatment right there. So if a patient comes in and they're not doing the blood electric at home and they have an immune/toxin leak, which most of them do, well, how do you know they have immune/toxin leak? If any problem's not getting better over 6 weeks, that's an immune/toxin leak. The immune system needs to clean up the terrain so the stem cells can get in there and regenerate. But in a lot of our patients since 2020, it's not happening. So the blood electric is one way to do it. And if they're not doing it at home, I always do a 1 needle blood electric in my office. And you're like, well, electricity requires a red and a black clip. Where are you hooking the other clip to? That is totally up to you. If you want to do a 2 needle blood electric, 1 at the radial, 1 at the ulnar, then connect them, that's fine. If you want to do like me, I just do 1 needle blood electric, and that leaves me 3 other needles, and I just connect it wherever I want. You're better off separating the clips as far apart in space as you can. Next immune treatment is this right side liver ear area. You search with your pointo on this right area, which becomes this large. And as you treat it, it shrinks and shrinks and shrinks. You find the point, you mark it, you needle it, and you insert electricity for 20 minutes. I like 4.6 or 10 hertz. That's another immune treatment. Another immune treatment, let me see if I can find it here. Now, I call this non-dominant. So if the patient's right-handed, which 90% of our patients are, you treat the left side, is right here. They're calling it allergy, but this is the antihistamine point that I love to search and find when I'm dealing with the immune system. It does a lot more than decrease histamines. You search for it on the top of the ear, this outer flap. If you find it, needle it. I like to needle it through and through. If you don't find it here, then search underneath this flap here, and you should be able to find it. So right there are 3 powerful protocols that you can use to rectify the immune/toxins issue. And you pretty much want to do this. Make sure that you have corrected their immune system. It's going to help all your other treatments work better. I don't care if you're doing TCM or whatever other style, trigger point even. This is going to help because nothing can get better unless you fix the immune system and help the patient with those toxins. And as far as if you've diagnosed an earth channel deficiency or a fire channel deficiency, how do you treat that? Just insert a needle early on the channel. So stomach 3 is a great point because it's early on the channel. Stomach 9 is still early on the channel. It will fill up the stomach channel, then circle around and start going into the spleen channel. So if you're trying to fill up deficient channels, in this case, I said try to rule out earth channels or fire channels first, and try and rule out immune and toxins first on the first 5 to 10 treatments, depending upon what they're doing and following their homework at home. All right, y'all, hope this was helpful. Let's go implement and see the results in the clinic. Now, if you've been seeing slow progress, stalled outcomes, or patients who just don't respond like they used to, this is your new entry point. Start by correcting terrain. Then the body can respond to everything else you do. Be sure to download the free guide, use it on your next patient, and start testing this model for yourself. If this video helped bring clarity, give it a like, drop a comment, and share it with a colleague. And for more terrain-based trainings, visit electroacupunctureinstitute.com and explore the full course library. See you in the next one.